Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Tax Matters. Brand new month, brand new episode. May 2023 is a unique month, and it is the month that we have been looking forward to, being the month that will witness the change of guards at the presidency and at governorship levels in about 30 states of the Federation. This comes once in 4 years. It is our hope that the new administration at federal and state levels will usher in the development that we all yearn for. And talking about development, science and technology have for long been the foundation upon which modern societies have been built and are being built. The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure was established in 1992 by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure Act, Cap N3 LFN 2004 as amended. The agency's mandate is to create an enabling, knowledge-driven environment for local mass production of standard parts, goods, and services required for the nation's science and technology advancement. One of the ways in which the agency is to be funded is through the collection of a levy of 0.25% of the turnover of commercial companies. What we are doing today is to bring our viewers up to speed with regard to the provisions of the NASENI Act concerning the NASENI Levy, consequent upon the recent directive of President Muhammadu Buhari. Based on the provisions of the law, the NASENI Levy applies to companies with turnover of 100 million naira and above. Furthermore, the Act provides that all contributions made to the fund shall be deductible against companies' income tax. Although the law has been effective since 1992, there has been little awareness of its existence. Taxpayers were unaware of any obligation to pay the NASENI Levy. President Muhammadu Buhari on 24 January 2021 directed the FRS to collect the statutory levy applicable under the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure NASENI Act. On the 1st of September 2022, the FRS issued an information circular for the administration of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure Levy. The NASENI Act provides for the imposition of a levy on certain commercial companies and firms in Nigeria. The levy shall be credited to the fund established under the Act. Section 20, subsection 2b provides as follows. There shall be paid and credited to the fund. Levy on the profit before tax of commercial companies and firms with turnover of 100 million naira and above, covering the banking, mobile telecommunications, ICT, aviation, maritime, oil and gas sectors, which shall be at the rate of 0.25% of profit before tax, collected by the FRS and credited to the account of the agency. The effective date for the implementation of this new provision shall be 1st January 2022. This implies that NASENI Levy shall be chargeable on the profit before tax of 2021 financial statements of the commercial companies and firms liable to the levy for the 2022 year of assessment. NASENI Levy returns shall be filed with the income tax returns in accordance with the provisions of CITA relating to time of filing. A self-assessment filer shall pay the levy on or before the due date of filing. NASENI Levy, 0.25% of profit before tax of companies with turnover above 100 million naira per annum. Little drops of water make a mighty ocean. All these minor levies come together to provide the resources required by government to make Nigeria better. There are, however, other innovations that have been put in place to provide these much needed resources. In 2019, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari came up with a novel idea of the Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme, Executive Order 007, with companies liable to companies' income tax to pay in advance the taxes due to them. Wonderful things have come out of that scheme. Our next feature is an attestation to this.
Alhaji Lapai tells us that commercial driving is a lucrative trade, but the condition of the road one plies is a great determinant for success. Prior to the ongoing reconstruction work on the Abuja-Minna Road, under the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme of the federal government, the road was a nightmare for motorists.
Honestly, any journey you make, when you go first trip, you have to overhaul your car. Coming back, you have to overhaul your car.
Before, the road is very, very bad when you are making us to lose many things, because we are having a lot of accidents, and then our vehicle, everything, tires, observer, when we buy the vehicle, you will not reach like only past 1 year to 2 years, the motor is already spoiled.
Because now the road is a bit okay. You don't repair like before. You don't repair like before, you just do service and other small things.
The Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme is one of the innovations of this government in order to encourage investment in critical infrastructure, which again, as I said, is a public good. We can't all just go around building our own roads. So there's one road that connects Lagos to Kano, for example. So that has to be provided by government. But government can obviously use various methods of financing it. And one of the innovations in order to bring the high quality of project management that is available in the private sector. And so the government came up with this scheme. And now, for example, we have the one that NNPC is handling. There are 21 roads spread across the 6 geopolitical zones that are being handled. About 620 billion is deployed for this purpose, and one of the roads is almost done. The Lagos-Badagry is part of the program. Then there are some roads in Niger State that are very critical to the provision of petrol and diesel, and they are also being worked on. There are some roads also, like I said, in the south-south as well, southeast, northwest, and so on and so forth. So this is a very important scheme. It's leveraging on the capacity of the private sector to be more efficient in project delivery. And it's a success because even the Boni road that the Nigeria LNG is doing has been on the table for a long time, but it's now being finally done under this scheme. And I'm sure that by the time some of these roads become operational, either by being fixed under this program or even the new roads like the Boni Road, it is going to improve the competitiveness of Nigeria's economy and in the end reduce our imports.
The scheme, which is mostly referred to as Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme, is a PPP intervention that enables federal government of Nigeria to leverage on the financial muscle of the private sector to fix this road. In other words, for purpose of clarity, it's not as if we are going to borrow money from the private sector. It's not as if we are telling the private sector to come and build road. It's not as if federal government says build and operate this road. No, you have future tax liabilities. You know that I'm going to pay 2 naira tomorrow. Why don't you come together? Use 1 naira out of the 2 naira due tomorrow. Fix this road. Get tax credit from FIRS so that when your taxes are due, you don't necessarily to pay again. You have something to tender, legal tender instrument to provide to anybody that the tax that was due to me, I have used it to fix this road. So in the course of your income tax return to FIRS, this credit is given to you.
Asking private sector operators and companies that are liable to paying income tax to the federal government to spend that tax in advance. So your tax for next year or 3 years' time, bring it forward and invest it in infrastructure. That's really what the tax credit scheme is about.
Before, if you are going to Abuja, when it was very bad, if you go in the morning, you come back in the evening. But as it is now, you can go Abuja and come back, and still go and come back like 2 times in a day. My advice to people, this kind of development they are seeing in my local area between Minna-Suleija now, the way they are doing road, some places they do it 2 times, and they are still facing on it. They are still doing it. I think it's okay. Everyone should start paying tax, so that when they don't work, you can say, my money, why they pay, why they put up. I think my advice for people, they should start paying, honestly.
A tax is a compulsory contribution to government revenue levied on individuals or corporations on their income, on their assets, or their consumption. There is a social contract between the government and the citizens that come together to form a nation. So this social contract requires that the citizens pay for running the government, and the government then provides certain services that only the government can provide. And in some cases, it also provides services that others can provide, but the government has decided that they are too important to be left to the market.
We are beginning to see how government is expressing itself and using the revenues that are coming in judiciously. We are beginning to see a well-funded military. We are beginning to see more infrastructure being built. Unlike in the past where promises were made and not delivered, like the second Niger Bridge, we'll be hearing of it from 1999. But now we can see it, we can touch it, we can feel it. And it's only made possible because of the taxes that we have paid. So if we continue to pay our tax and pay regularly, we can only have more and the nation can be better off.
Thank you for staying with us. Just like the Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme, the FRS continues to innovate towards making tax payments a pleasant experience for taxpayers at all levels. Recently, the service deployed a new filing and payment module for VAT on Tax Pro Max. On Wednesday, the 26th of April, the FRS hosted a webinar on addressing stakeholders and taxpayers' concerns over the new VAT filing processes on the Tax Pro Max. Chief host was Executive Chairman FRS, Mr. Muhammad Nami.
This is the second webinar the service is hosting this year. The first touch on a similar subject, that is the appointment of VAT agents, as well as new features and improvement on our Tax Pro Max, particularly on the one-click tax clearance model. Let me use this moment to offer my apology on behalf of the service to all stakeholders and taxpayers for the huge communication gap that is being experienced with the deployment of our Tax Pro Max new model in respect of filing VAT and making VAT payment. We want to assure you that we made these changes in good faith.
Consequent upon the deployment of the new model, VAT filers experienced some glitches in filing April VAT returns. The service moved in swiftly to address those issues.
It is in fact based on the concerns you raised that we issued a public notice to provide you with some palliatives, particularly on penalties and interest for late filing and payment of April VAT obligation, extension of filing due date to 30th April for filing April VAT returns, among others. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Please feel free to provide us with further feedback so that we are guided and will be in a position to serve you better.
Immediately after the welcome address, there was a presentation on the introduction of input VAT mechanism, credit mechanism, and how it works.
Here, I'm going to log in as a taxpayer. Then I come to the taxes due to get the form to be filled. Here I have the VAT form. Then I have the sales schedule. Now on the schedule, if you note that we have like a legend where we have our VAT status column, which is this column here. We have under the VAT status column here, 0 is meant for VATable items, 1 is for 0 rated items, while 2 is for VAT exempted items. And under the first one, under the first column, we have the beneficiary name, which is the customers. Now, this will only apply to those who deal with corporate entities, who are not the final consumers of what you sell. Now, this is a taxpayer that is filing his own returns based on his own sales for the previous months. Now, you are expected to fill in the name of the tax of your customers, who in this instance is either a corporate taxpayer or an enterprise taxpayer. Then the TIN of the taxpayer is expected to be provided, the item that was purchased, the costs of that item, how much did you sell it to the person? And when you're putting this cost, it is VAT exclusive. This is not the cost plus the VAT, rather the cost minus the VAT. Then the item description, then the VAT status. As we know, 2 here signifies VAT exemption. And we know that baby products are exempted by the provisions of the law. Now, you're going to fill all this. Now, I also want us to notice this. I put in a Red Cross here. A Red Cross Society is an NGO provided services in the humanitarian services. And when the law provides that when you sell for those in that categories of taxpayers, it is charged as 0. That's why you have it as 0, as 1. Then every other items here, they are all VATable items. And that is why the code here is 0. Now let's notice this last one. Now this is for your customers who are final consumers, who are not in any way going to claim any inputs on what they have purchased from you. So for example, if I'm a hotelier and I do not do transactions with any people coming to my hotel to lodge, which means at the end that those are final consumers. At that point, I am not entering in any details of the individuals that come into my hotel. Rather, I have them as my customers. The TIN is going to be 0. I have it as my sales. The costs of the services or the goods that I've sold to them, then goods sold or services provided, then since it is VATable, you put it as 0. Now, having done that, then you come onto the system and select that template which you have filled and upload it onto the system. I will say the system is going to do validation of all the records that you have imputed. So having done that, you click on upload.
I'm a very busy man. My business involves a lot of traveling and I interface with lots and lots of people and organizations. Tax compliance used to be a big drag on my business. It was time consuming and very costly. But now, no more. Introducing the FIRS Tax Pro Max, the truly fully end-to-end tax administration solution for companies' income tax, value-added tax, petroleum profits tax, and all other tax types. For fast, efficient, and convenient end-to-end tax experience, log on to www.taxpromax.firs.gov.ng. Tax Promax has turned things around for me. It is fast, user-friendly, and cost-effective. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC.
We are coasting home. Next week is the annual tax conference and it is holding in Abuja FCT. It is the 25th in the series. To shed light on what to expect, we have with us in the studio the president of the CITN himself, Mr. Adeshina Adedayo. Mr. Adedayo is here with Mr. Adeshina Fatai, a member of the Annual Task Conference Planning Committee. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Tax Matters.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. To what do we owe this visit?
Actually, the visit is to sensitize both our members and the public on what we are about to do. We are gathering as one of the largest body of tax practitioners for us to be able to see how do we come together in terms of conference. And that's why we want to sensitize them by telling them this is what is happening and is happening very soon in the city of Abuja.
Now, we know it is customary to have a theme for the Annual Task Conference. What is the theme of this year's Annual Task Conference?
The theme is Nigeria of the Future, Achieving Sustainable Development Through Transaction.
Now, let me come back to the president. Could you tell us what informed the choice of this theme?
When we look at the Nigeria of today, we're able to at least visualize the Nigeria of the future. How do we change the narrative? How do we have a situation where, as much as possible, we are able to talk about revenue coming through taxation, leading to the sustainable development of that, and by having the Nigeria of the future we love to see. So that is why we make the theme Nigeria of the Future, Achieving Sustainable Development Using Taxation.
Now, what are we expecting? Who are the speakers?
Yes, apart from the fact that we are looking at the sustainable development through taxation, we are aware you do not operate in vacuum and we cannot be an isolated nation. We are actually having a development partner also with us here, UNDP, and they are going to send a representative, the country representative, to talk to us. The ACCA country representative is equally coming for purpose of giving a flavor to it. It's about building bridges. We have an area of speakers, people from leading accounting firms like KPMG, like Deloitte and Touche, like even, we are talking about even a chairman of revenue service also being there. All these are people, they are going to get the benefit of their knowledge and impact. It is a place to be, I can assure you.
We can see it is fully loaded. Now to Mr. Fatai, is this conference open to everybody?
It is virtually open to everybody, for CITM members, for non-members. It's even open to students, student members. It's open to members of other professional bodies. It's open to foreigners. It's just open to virtually anyone who is interested in the economy and in the finance system of this country. They are welcome.
So if one wants to attend, what is required of he or she?
Well, we have on our flyers that you have displayed here, we have links that we have published where people can log on to and register online and then make a payment. The payments are varied for members, for non-members. We have for members 130,000, for non-members 135,000, for student members. Then for old aged members, it's just half of what members will pay. And for foreign members, they will pay $500. So if they are watching virtually, they pay $250. So it's just graduated like that across board. So everybody has something to pick, from the schedule.
Now, Mr. President, apart from the intellectual fees, the talk, what else can we look forward to?
Networking is what makes us human beings. We have the hospitality night where we come, we socialize, we even look at the cultures of different places in Nigeria. We want to see how our district society in Kaduna will showcase their internal culture, and then we see what is happening about the district in Abeokuta. We want to be able to have fun. That is talking about the hospitality night. Secondly, we also have the games where we play different types of game. Maybe my skill is in table tennis, yours is in Scrabbles, whatever it is. We want to have a community of professionals actually relating with themselves on social level. Then finally, we also have the gala night. At the gala night level, it is a situation where, irrespective of whether you are old school or new school, we want to be able to dance. So gala night is a place to also be. Then finally, you have the issue of the students. We also want to connect. We are talking about Nigeria of the future. We want to be able to connect with what is happening with the youth of today as far as taxation is concerned. Actually, if I have to be sincere with you, the tax conference of this year is a place to be. It's just a place to be.
Now, finally, Mr. Fatai, please share with our viewers the venue and the date of this 25th Annual Tax Conference.
The conference will be taking place at the Chida Event Center, Plot 224, Solomon Lawi, Utako District, Abuja.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you, Amaka, for having me.
25th Annual Tax Conference, Monday 8th to Friday 12th of May 2023. See you there. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful week ahead.